Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so, Jory's here for the weekend.
Hello.
I realize that it's already, like, really late in the weekend, but, we were really busy writing.
Mm-hmm. The
So,
whole purpose of me coming up here was to write. I moved from basically from one side of the state to the other, and now I live like how many hours? Like 5,
I think
6?
it's about 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live far away now, so this is Thursday through today, and tomorrow is
Yeah.
all writing.
Yep. So tell them what we did today.
What we do? We did a sprinting marathon.
We did this last year, too.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is, for pretty much a whole day, we'll do a sprint at the top of every single hour. So every time it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we do a 30-minute sprint, and then we spend the next 30 minutes actually planning for the next one. So it's just hour after hour. I think we did 8 of them today.
It was from 3 to midnight. Well, 3 to 11.
3 to
11. So 11 p.m. was our final sprint.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So we were done technically at 11:30. So it was like a work day.
And how many words did you get?
Oh shit!
Ballpark it.
Like. Oh, I didn't know there was gonna be questions.
This is the quiz portion. We get that shit out of the way early. I think you got like 6.
I think it was more like 5.
We're gonna go with 6.
Between 5 and 6.
She got about 6,000 done. I got about 6,500 done.
Mm-hmm.
I've been editing, so I'm actually...
There's 25.
Yeah, one of my sprints was 25 because I've been editing. So I think I'm going to finish my novel tonight. Like, I was already 1 nano, and I'd already kind of, like, written through it. But this is, like, my first edit, and I added, like, 5 chapters. So it sits at about 75,000 words right now, and I think I'm going to finish it tonight. So, good deal. Are you scowling at me in the corner? Where are you at?
Over 23,000. What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. I was just smirking for the camera.
Oh. Sam's so damn funny. She says to me, Jory, look at my chart. Look how crazy it is. And I'm just like, I'm like 4,000 words behind on the daily word count. And I'm like not even touching that goal line. I have like this giant gap. I'm like, my name's Sam. Look at my chart. It's so insane. I'm like,
if you look at my chart, it's like spike, 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 and then it kind of tapers off. After
yeah, she's like, look, it tapers off, and I'm like, look, it tapers off. It's not even at 20,000.
It's like way above like the line. This is where you should be, and I'm like way up here.
Overachiever.
Yeah, pretty much. Story of my life. Hey, heads up ahead of time. I'm sick, if you can't tell. So my face is probably getting really red. My eyes are puffy because I'm dying.
She's not allowed to die until I leave tomorrow.
If I had $1 for every time someone told me I wasn't allowed to die,
you'd probably be very rich.
Yeah.
And you could retire at 4:30.
At 4:30?
I said before.
4:30 this morning, guys. I'm done. I quit.
No,
everything.
Before the age of 30, you doofus.
I thought you were gonna call me a douche.
No, you'd have to do something really bad in order for me to call you that.
I love it when Frankie says things like that. I'm gonna go blog like a dick.
And then you think, wait, is she going to blog
like a dick? Like dick-like?
Or blog like a dick? Like, you were like as like a Valley Girl voice, so you're gonna blog a dick picture or something. I'm like,
oh my god, that's horrible. But speaking of which, did you see that picture of Donald Trump that was made out of like 500 pictures of dicks?
Yes, you showed me that. That's this morning, actually.
I bookmarked that.
Yes, you did.
If you're interested, just Google that. You'll find it, no problem. I'm not gonna put it in my blog. That's just it's like a bag of dicks. I'm just not gonna do it. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so next we wanted to talk about, like, doing really well with your characters, like, getting into your character, and, so Joy wanted to start.
Yeah, so, I don't know if you guys know what I'm writing about. I'm actually writing another LGBTQ fictional story, slightly smutty, but not really. It's like a fantasy-type book about witches and witchcraft. It's going to be wonderful. So I really had to get in a character for this one, and it's just so much fun this time around because I actually did backstories on my characters. Sam actually suggested I do that, and it was just a lot of fun, and not just for like my main characters, but for like side characters, like the people that don't really appear a whole lot in the story. But as I'm free writing, I kind of didn't know. I had a little bit of an idea of who these people were, just because I put a little bit of myself into each character, whether they're major or not. And as I'm writing these backstories, I wrote, how many did I write? Like 3, 4 different backstories?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And they kind of develop their own personalities. And, you know, you see that a lot online. You see people really... Wow. Anyway.
It was getting too serious there for me.
Thanks a lot, buddy. You're awesome. Anyway, but you really do you develop your characters as you write, and I really got into that. And I guess that's my cue to stop talking.
No, you're fine.
You're being a jerk.
I was just vlogging like a dick.
Yeah, you were. Like Donald Trump dick picture.
Yeah, like a bag of dicks.
Like a bag of dicks. And
so,
yeah, go ahead.
So what she was talking about is a trick that I actually started at the beginning here, because I really wanted to write the story before it was time to write the story, and so what I decided to do was get all my backstory out of the way. It's something that I started doing because it keeps me from dumping a whole bunch of information right at the beginning of the book, which is sometimes the death knell for new writers, is they tend to dump a whole lot of information at the beginning of the book, because you're trying to explain your world to people. So what I did instead was I did like a backstory chapter for each one of my characters, and that was actually turned out to be a lot of fun. So I suggested it for Jory because she's a little bit more new, and I figured it would help her to keep from falling into that trap in her first successful novel. So that was kind of what I did too. I only did a few of them. My book, I think, has fewer characters than I'm used to. So there's really only 4 main characters, and I only did 2 of them, so.
Excuse me.
Anything else you got on this one?
Oh. Sam had vlogged earlier this month about pacing, and I want to kind of go off of that, and I was telling Sam, like, what I'm really excited about this book for me is I'm really finding how to find that raw emotion, really finding what draws the attention of the readers and how to rip it to shreds, in a sense.
I've taught her how to hurt people.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that topic later.
We'll get to that topic later. But really trying to draw in the reader and how to really let them feel what you feel deep down for this character. Because as all writers know, like, we love our characters and we want our readers to love them too.
Yeah.
So we really need to just we want to feel that visceral, deep down gut feeling of what these characters are going through, whether it's your personal experience or just you just let it flow as you write.
You really got to try to make like your characters as unique as possible, because you want them to, first and foremost, they have to feel like real people. So you have to make them in a sense realistic. Even if you're writing a fantasy and they're like not real, like they can't be real, you still want to make them believable. Give them believable emotions, flaws, strengths and weaknesses.
Yep.
Things that set them off. Like, maybe they have a couple of, like, strange tics. Maybe they're a little OCD. Maybe they're germaphobe. One of the characters in my book is a clean freak.
One of the characters in my book is super, like, anal retentive. She has to have it her way. She's very organized, very black and white. She has to have a plan, or else if she doesn't, things go to shit very quickly.
Yeah. The most important thing is you want to make them all very different in certain ways and stay consistent all the way through. Like, one of the most obnoxious things when you're reading dialogue is for all your characters to sound exactly the same.
Monotone.
Yeah.
You don't want what's his face.
Like, they all speak the same. Like, the fun thing about... Yeah. The fun thing about my story is, like, Zanja almost never swears. She's very cool and sophisticated, and she will say as few words as possible. A lot of times she actually just ignores people. She's like, I'm not answering that. Too good for that question.
Yep.
Burge, like, he will just go off the deep end and just drop F-bombs, like, every third word, and that's just his way. And Wex rambles. Like, actually, I sent the first half of this through an alpha read, and Chaos was, like, actually telling me, like, be careful, you don't want to ramble too much because you'll lose your reader. It's like, no, actually, that really is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's supposed to be a little bit dry, and, like, he loses the people that he's talking to in the book, so he's supposed to lose you, too.
Mm-hmm.
How about anything else? Tag? Okay, in this little segment, we're going to talk about animals in your story.
Aminals.
Now, I'm going to talk briefly about what the point of putting animals in your story is. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't like people. The first thing that
I had no idea.
Person has a dog, I'm like, ooh, puppy! And then I'm like, I don't care anything at all about the owner, but I'm like, I'm gonna pet this dog. Which is, entirely rude, but I do it anyway, because I love dogs. I would rather pet their dog than talk to them any day. I'm the person in the corner, I'm like, you have a cat? Cool. So I pet the cat, not socialize. So that's part of it, is some people, like me, love the animal in the story way more than the people in it. And so, like, when you go to the movies, saddest part of the whole movie is when the dog dies. Spoilers. The dog fucking dies, and that's like the saddest thing ever. And you're like, no, I can't. Like, this whole story, he's the last man alive. Like, that's real sad and all, but I fucking lost it at that dog. So that's kind of the point, putting an animal in the story. So, why don't you talk about the animal in your story?
Okie dokie. So, the title of my book is called Fire and Crows. So, I have a crow in my story. His name is Turin. He just kind of randomly appears. Anyway, he's awesome. I love this bird so much. He's funny. He's so funny. Crows are very clever, very smart, very mischievous. They're too smart for their own damn good. Like my story, I'm really working on trying to balance it between serious and not so serious and funny, and then back to feels, and then full circle. So Turin is kind of like comic relief in a sense, and cutesy feelsies as well, warm fuzzies. And crows get a bad rap. They're seen as like these bullies in the wild kingdom, and scavengers, and da-da-da. And I'm like, crows are actually pretty cool. So he's kind of like part dog, part cat, part bird, because of his mannerisms and the sounds that he makes.
Man, bear, pig.
He's like Man Bear Pig. Super cereal. Excelsior. Anyway. Oh god, it's been way too long. Anyway. Well, Turin is really, really awesome. He's like my main character's name is Bella, or Isabella, but we call her Bella. He's like her buddy when she's going through some really bad shit that I can't really talk about right now because spoilers. Ashwa.
We're
so,
dorks.
Yeah, whatever. Judge us if you want. Whatever. No, Turin is a really cool character. I was going, because this is a fantasy novel, it's about witches, and typically, you have a lot of transformations, like people turning into animals turning into people, blah, 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 and I'm just like, I really don't know what to do with him. I think he's going to stay a crow. I really like him as a crow, because his personality is developed as a crow.
Oh my god, he's hilarious.
He's hilarious. Like, I'll just tell you this little bit that I did with him, just to kind of add some comic relief. Sam really liked it. So my main character goes grocery shopping, and she runs upstairs to go take care of something, and Turin sees a box of cookies that he really wants. He really wants these damn cookies.
He has a sweet tooth.
He's got a big sweet tooth. So does Bella. You'll find that out later. So he's outside, and he's like looking in the window like, oh, cookies, I want those. Cookies! Cookie monster. Anyway, so he manages to open the window, because he's a smart fucker. He's a crow, he can do whatever the hell he wants. He gets in, he manages to squeeze his body in, and the kitchen floor is like linoleum, it's very slick, and he gets in, and he's trying to like launch out, because he freaking like falls. First of all, he's a giant klutz, and it's hilarious.
He's a klutzy crow.
He's a very klutzy crow, and it's so funny. So I got really creative with the scene. every step he took, he slipped and fell, like, head over feet. And so he's like, fuck this. I can't launch off the floor, so I'm going to climb up a bar stool. So he climbs up the bar stool, and he gets on top, and all of a sudden, he hears Bella's footsteps upstairs. And he's like, oh, man, I better hurry up. He launches himself off, tries to grab the dang cookies, knocks all of the groceries on the floor. Here comes Bella running down the stairs, like, what the fuck is going on in my kitchen? And he tries to grab a box of cookies, and he's trying, and not being the brightest bulb in the bunch, because he's a bird, he forgets that he only opened the window that much, and slams into the window, sending the cookies flying everywhere. He's on the floor like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Bella is just standing there with this mom look on her face.
Right,
just,
really?
all of this mess for cookies? Really?
It's so worth it.
So worth it. And
were they Oreos?
I don't know. I haven't really figured that out yet. It was
if you're watching this video, tell Joy what kind of cookies they are.
Yeah, because I don't know what kind of cookies they are. They were just delicious. I was thinking maple.
This is your chance.
Maple leaf cookies. You know, the maple syrup flavor in them, because those are delicious and they're only seasonal. Yeah. And they come in a box. So I don't know. I mean, if you guys think of something else, go for it. But he's like my comic relief, and he's adorable, and he's also kind of like a watchdog and a guardian. He likes to bring little gifts to Bella too. Because crows will do that. Crows will bring you little trinkets if you're nice to them. They remember things. If you're not nice to them, they come peck your eyes out.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in my book, I've got two, actually. I have a blind weasel named Ashes.
Poke, poke, poke.
So the reason that I have her in the book at all was because Burge needs to have a method of finding people who have special blood, and Ashes can like sniff them out. She can't see, but she has a really good sense of smell, and she can only sense people that have special blood. So she's really adorable because she's basically a ferret. She's a weasel and
Cat
snake. So she's a lot of fun, and that's sort of the reason I put animals in my book, was sort of to show you who has some humanity left. Zanja fucking hates all animals. Like, anything that lives, she hates it. So, Ashes is the first example you see of her hating on animals. But then, also, Wex has a dog called Maxine. She's a chocolate lab. And she travels with him. She's, like, his best friend. They've always been friends. And he loves her more than anything, because he's not really... It's not that he's not a people person, he's just really socially awkward, so he, like, gets along really well with his dog and doesn't really like to talk to anybody else. But she travels around with him, and she's really adorable, because she's, like, this fat, old chocolate lab, and she's just like, I love everybody.
I hid underneath your porch because I love you.
Maxine definitely makes it. I'm not going to be the person that kills the dog.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be friends anymore if you did. I would take your book and throw it out the fucking window.
I don't think anybody would have forgiven me if I killed the old dog, so...
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, people be coming after you with pitchforks and torches and tar and feathers.
But, funny story, though. Her owner, Wex, should have died, like, 5 or 6 times in my novel, and it's still going strong. Like, he got the bad disease and survived it. He went into a blizzard and survived it. He got thrown off a balcony and survived that. Like, I don't know. That guy's, like, he's luckier than hell. But, yeah, so that's what I got. How you doing?
Good.
Alright, moving on. In this one, we're going to talk about being evil. I'm going to start that one off as I should. I'm definitely, of the Dead Pete Society, I'm probably the most evil. I told Frankie that in her book, I think that Kai should be the only one that survives until the end. Ninja jump. But, seriously though, I'm...
No, just hitting you, I don't know.
If Itasha's trying to get my attention, I'm gone.
I forgot.
Seriously. Where was I? So, yeah, I'm definitely probably the most evil of the Dead Pete Society. I'm known for making readers cry. I've gotten messages in my inbox before that are like, "Why you do this to me?" And yeah.
And she just laughs. She's like, "Yes."
It's kind of my thing. I'm pretty good at getting into like raw emotions of things, and I've mastered how to really hurt people, and I really like to kill off characters. And typically, the more I know that you like a character, the more likely I am to kill them off.
So don't tell her you like a character.
Don't tell me you have a favorite character, because
I learned that the hard way. And I was very angry. Yeah.
So, we've been... I've kind of been trying to rub off on people a little bit, because I feel like my friends have all been a little too fluffy and taken it a little too safe.
My hair.
None more so than Jory. She's always in happy-go-lucky, friendly land. And
oh, always.
Yeah.
That's my personality. That's how I roll. So, anywho, sure.
But being evil and hitting people in the fields is typically how you earn fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's the stuff that sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you just, like, dig a knife into somebody's heart. So.
And then twist it a little bit, and then pull it out, and then stab it again and again. So anyway, yeah, Sam hung up on me. Sweet vet. No, it was so funny. It was like I was her prized pupil. I'm sending her chapters of my new novel, and tragedy strikes like right from the start. I mean, because I'm writing this first chapter, and I'm telling Sam, this is, you know, from where I live downstate. And I go, Sam, this is getting really boring, and I don't, and because that's where I get stuck. Hence the reason why I did the backstory. And I'm like, this is getting boring. This is boring me. This is not good. If it bores me,
boring.
Fluff is boring. Well, it was just, it can be. It is.
Fluffy's good.
Fluffy's good.
But continuous Fluffy.
Yeah, it's just like,
boring.
what was my analogy? A nougat, like a chocolate with nougat in the middle. I don't want it to be too sweet. I want my readers to be able to gobble it up and enjoy it, not be like, this is really crappy, I'm going to toss it out.
Yeah.
So she says, throw some tragedy in there. Throw something crazy in there. And I'm like, really? Like, right now? She's like, yeah. I go, okie dokie. And I went kind of nuts with it. And
she did.
And it was beautiful. And I just kept it up. And it's so great. Like, we're on Skype, and she's messaging me, and she sends me, like, this, like, really proud, like, smiley face, like, and she goes, Pat, I'm so proud of you.
I was.
I'm proud of myself. I'm like, dude.
There was actually a point where she set down her novel where she was at and was like, I need to jump ahead to this torture scene.
I did! I totally forgot about that. I was actually also not in the best mood either. So, because of life stressors and work, I actually, prior to NaNoWriMo, I actually had to undergo emergency surgery. I had to have an emergency appendectomy. So I was gone from work for 2.5 weeks of unpaid medical leave because I'm still new at my job. So I had a lot of angst from that, and my job is rather stressful. So I was just really mad at the world. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to cut to this scene right now because I'm really pissed. So, because this character that I was writing about at the time was just an uber douche nozzle. And I'm like, and I'm telling Sam, like, this son of a bitch is going to get his in the end. Fuck it, I'm going to do it now. And she's like, okay. And Frankie's on there like, you go get him, Panda. You go get him right now. And I actually sent Frankie a copy of it, too. And she was actually like, this is really good. You know, like, it just needs some editing, but it's really good. I'm really proud of you. And I'm just like, yes. And it's beautiful. Like, my other character, I have a couple of main characters. There's Bella. And there's Rosalind. Rosalind's a witch in my story who is much so the opposite of Bella. Bella's like me in the sense that she's very fluffy, very sweet, very, I want to say confident, but she's really not because she also has a lot of anxiety and all that stuff. And she's very, like, Bella's very by the book, whether it's, like, the rules or it's strictly by the textbook. Then there's Rosalind, who is just, like, sheer just raw emotion and just no control. Rosalind's the one that does the torturing, and I got to dabble in her brain a little bit, and it was just like, oh, I like this character a lot more than my actual, like, main character that I started writing about at the very beginning of the novel. And Sam said, I figured you would. She's your favorite, isn't she? I said,
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like, the characters with the attitude are always the most
Oh
fun.
my gosh, she has so much attitude, and she's just, like, even in her backstory, it's just, oh my god, she's a good bitch witch. in a sense. Because then there's another character who I have in there who is just this instigator, drama-causing, mosquito in the room type of person, and Rosalind hates her with a passion. And that's where, in my book, like, classism is going to fall into place. Rosalind's of a certain family, and this uber mosquito bitch witch comes from a different class of family, and they clash all the time. So in my backstory, it shows an interaction of them, and Rosalind's just, like, literally kicking her ass because she's a better witch, because she has worked her ass off to get to her talent, and the other one has been spoon-fed, and she just, like, kicks her ass, and it's so awesome. And I'm like, I'm gonna have fun writing this character.
So the last thing that I want to say on this one was just that I've seen some people on like the NaNoWriMo page like asking like, hey, has anyone ever like killed off a character and felt really bad about it? And I know that a lot of people might look at me in the way like I kill off characters all the time, like maybe I don't feel bad about it. I do sometimes. I've actually written a couple of characters now where I killed them and then felt really bad about it. And I thought about bringing them back, but then I was like, no, they really need to stay dead for reasons. Like in this one, I killed off a guy, and then I was like, I kind of miss him already.
Yeah,
I was just, like,
I did the same thing.
Things were just starting to look up for him, but nope, he's dead now.
Yeah, I did that actually right at the beginning of my novel. I killed off a character.
But I do feel bad about it.
I felt
like, just so
awful.
you know.
Oh
like,
yeah, I know.
Right,
she does.
right in the feels. Right in the feels. Especially that last book I wrote. Well, it's a sequel. I killed off somebody in the sequel to the book I wrote last year. I'm not telling you who, but it hurt me right in here.
It hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, it makes me sad still, just to think about it.
Yeah, I always say, too soon, Sam, too soon. It was last year.
Yeah.
I don't care. She agrees with me.
Alright, let's do this.
Huzzah!
Hello there! That was a retarded way to start this one.
And we just said we aren't being nearly as ridiculous as we usually are. So we're gonna be ridiculous now.
Well,
we're gonna talk about fighting in our books.
Fighting! That was pirates, that's next. Oops, spoilers.
Sam! What the hell, man?
I'm sorry, alright?
No, you're not.
We'll just forget that happened. We'll
Moving on.
Edit that out or
Let
something.
me drink my coffee.
Right, coffee. Good call.
Don't sip some
I
up.
look like a Scandinavian woman, you know that? Look at my arms. Like, seriously. I could be a
Right?
Viking.
And your fucking braids, man. It makes the costume all that much better.
I'm like Helga. Look at me, I have an axe. I don't, but I wish I did. I have a sword.
What the
Hang on.
Oh, I should
Don't
have
move.
brought mine.
Yeah, we could share it. We'll wield it together.
Okay, well, just don't make me into a shish kachori, because that would be really bad. Holy fuck, she's not kidding, guys.
We'll wield it together.
Oh, sweet
Place your
Jesus.
hand upon mine. Come on. You have to do this.
Yeah.
The strength of our powers combined.
And this just confirms our friendship.
There. Yes. Good strong grip. I like it. All right,
Put it down. Put it down. Before we like break your computer. Okay, now that we got the giggles out.
No, come on.
No, we don't. We really don't.
But we are moving on.
We are moving on. We're gonna try. I'm like fucking
We're
crying.
gonna talk about fighting in this one. As we laugh, the hardest we've laughed all night.
No.
Okay, so I'll start. Fight
Okay.
scenes. Typically, when you want to do fight scenes, pacing is the most important. So you don't want to do long, drawn-out descriptions of things because it slows down your scene. You want to keep shorter sentences, clippier words. You want to use onomatopoeia, which is a fun word. For those of you
Remind me of that. What is onomatopoeia again?
That's what I was going to do.
Oh, sorry.
Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like what it is. Like snap, boom,
Oh.
crackle, things like that. Yeah, so use words like that. They're pretty good for that. I typically don't like writing fight scenes. I think most writers dislike writing fight scenes. And the reason for that is because you write it a lot slower than it happens. So it feels like it's coming out wrong. And those are the kinds of actions that are really hard to describe with words. It's really something you have to see. But it can be done. I don't have any good examples for you right now. and I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to give you my examples either. Right. The type of fighting, I don't have any fight scenes in this novel, really. I do have some action-y scenes. Like, there's a part where Burge goes crazy and just breaks shit. That's cool. But typically the kind of fighting that's in my book is a bunch of arguing. When your characters get to arguing, don't stop them.
Legit.
Yeah.
Even in your backstories, just let them go. Just let them have at it.
Yeah, you gave them a personality and they're using it. Burge drops an F-bomb every, 3 words, but that's just the way that he is, and he gets really, into it, sarcastic, and he just flies off the deep end and loses his mind. He's also really funny when he's drunk. Full disclosure, when he's drunk, I see my brother in him.
Oh, that's right, you did tell me.
Yeah, he definitely, sometimes when my brother gets really, really drunk, he kind of gets this way about him where he's kind of, deeply philosophical and a little bit violent, but with a sway. So that's kind of how I write him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have yet to meet her brother, so this is very funny.
And none of you will meet my brother because I'm not. I just made fun of him on camera, kind of, and that's mean. So I love my brother though. And what do you got?
Okay, so I've never written a fight scene before. So this is going to be interesting. And with my theme, my books, it's fantasy, it's witchcraft. Whenever I think of that, I think of Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, and I'm thinking, how in the hell did she come up with these spells? And I'm thinking, you know what, we're not going to do spells. Because, first of all, it's NaNoWriMo. I ain't got time to do that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't know. Well, I know quite a bit of Spanish, so that's pretty... Ooh, careful.
I got a big sword.
Yeah. That's what she said. Any Hoosier. For me, okay, just to sound kind of dumb, words are hard for me. Because I'm still new to this, and I don't want to, use big words that I don't understand, and I'm trying to force them into my book. No, I'm all about the action of it. The action.
She's all about the action.
I sprinted into that one. Just crash into the wall. Head first. Face first.
Fist
but
first. You're welcome. But not really.
No. Oh, God.
That's what she said.
Oh, man. I hate you so much right now. I burped.
Back on topic, Jory. What are you waiting for?
So anyway, my witches are just going to use energy to create their spells. Kind of playing up Avatar a little bit. Thanks, buddy. Each witch comes from a family of a certain element. For example, fire and crows. Hello. So we're going to play on that. It comes from within them. They go to the school to develop their genetically predisposed element, and then dabble in other elements they can add on to it, kind of like an elective or humanities course, I guess you could call it, if you want to talk secondary education or post-secondary education, I should say. And I'm going to use that because, for example, Rosalind can just make shit move, just with a flip of her wrist. She traps Helena in my backstory with she puts her in a chair and then shoves a table to trap her within a chair and a table, and she can't move at all. And she takes the chair and the table and she fucking throws it, just with her energy. So it's kind of like witches meet ninja, in a sense. So that's how I'm going to use my fight scenes, is with energy and lots of fluid motions, mannerisms. Not necessarily incantations, because that's just going to be way too much for a reader to get into. They can picture motions. They can picture people moving. If they have a hard time pronouncing a word, they're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Because that's how I am. If I'm reading, I'm like, I need a dictionary to figure out what the fuck this means.
Onomatopoeia? Oh. What?
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I'm going to do my fight scenes later in the book, because there's going to be bickering and bitching between the witches at school, and then there's gonna be this epic clash between the antagonist and the protagonist. It's gonna be great.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said that you shoved her in a chair, I was not thinking about a fight scene.
Of course you weren't. Of course, probably a lot of you weren't either.
I mean, it is us.
It is.
Are we done with this one?
Yep.
Alright, we're gonna move on. Winter is coming.
Rusty scallywags.
Okay, we have to start the pirate segment of this, talking about this conversation.
I didn't think we were actually going to talk about it, but okay.
I'm going to talk with a hook. It's not a real hook.
I'm going to pretend I have a mug of mead.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, now we're cooking. Alright, so the other day, Jory and I were at Bigby writing words, and we were having a conversation, and Chaos, I think, said she was going to go get some tea.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and then Jory wrote, I heart tea. And then because I read it as I heart tea, I was like, drink up me hearties. And then it just evolved into this fucked up RPG about pirates sailing the high seas.
For the best tea ever.
I really love tea.
And like the loose leaf tea, or like the flowering tea, not the bag tea, bullshit.
Like the dread pirate Darjeeling and his sidekick Oolong, and the curse of the Black Jasmine Pearl, and it was just fantastic. And then Frankie came in, and Chaos was there, and then like all of us were just like, avast ye, pull up anger, and I was like, shit, I meant anchor.
Angsty anchor.
And then there was like a kraken, and then there was like,
oh yeah, I forgot about the fucking kraken.
Of course there was a kraken.
What?
Release the kraken.
Why was there a kraken?
Because somebody threw Frankie in the water and she didn't like that. So there was a kraken there and she owned it. And then she was like,
and apparently the kraken drank tea with us? I really don't
Heck
know.
yes, because she was like, Peppermint is the best cabin boy.
And then we turned it into like, that
something
sounds
dirty.
like really bad.
Peppermint is my cabin boy and I treat him like a slave.
Yup.
He does what I want him to.
Yup.
But we thought how hilarious it would be to have these pirates like all decked out in their pirate gear. They were like,
pinkies up in our teeth.
Okay, so that was a complete divergence from the actual plan. This one we were going to talk about objects, trinkets, and significant objects.
Objects?
Objects, trinkets, and significant objects. So you have objects. And
significant ones even!
We're going to throw this one away because fuck that shit.
Means that.
Yes, significant things.
Well, significant things that don't necessarily have significance initially, but then later down the road they're like, oh, that's why you had that there. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So, I'm going to have a shoulder shark.
His name's Polly. Polly wants a fishy.
So yeah. In mine, I only have one thing. It's Zanja's ring finger bone. She cut it off because it gives Burge his magic. Burge doesn't have any magic at all.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, but he's her henchman, and she protects her assets, so she gives him the power to basically not die. And the only way you can do that is because it's person bound, so he had to have a part of her with him to be able to use it. And so she cut off her ring finger bone, and that was sort of like a symbolic thing. I haven't quite decided if it's a good kind of symbolism or a bad kind of symbolism, because Zanja's a horrible person. But basically, so he's got her bone finger on like a necklace, and that's how he gets his magic. So that's
how beautiful she went to Jared.
I always thought that was really like dark and kind of awesome at the same time. So that's what I went with.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
I have a ring. That was the first object that came to mind. Now, what are you doing? Are you trying to
copying the shark?
Oh, okay. I thought you were like gonna throw in like a
twinsies.
Shark bait, boo-ha! Oh god, we're cracked out of our skulls. Anyway.
Dude, it's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. What do you want from me? I've been writing for like 9 hours.
Yeah, I know. And I knew this was gonna happen. Because
I'm good with it. I'm strangely alright with this.
It's great. If we
I'm strangely comfortable with it. That's a quote. Points if you know from what.
I don't get points. Anyway, The Ring is the first one. I thought she was going to throw out a Lord of the Rings quote. I'm like, don't do it.
No.
Okay, thank you. And then the other one is a rock/crystal. That will be of significance later. Those are the two main little bitty things that I have going on right now that we do not know in our shirt.
You had to go there, didn't you?
You're petting it like freaking Mr.
We do
Bigglesworth.
not know under Sharky.
We petting me soon, Mr. Sharkysworth.
What happened to Mr. Sharkysworth?
I don't know. I'm really sorry.
Finish your topic.
Sorry, you distracted me.
It talks on the camera, or it gets the hose.
Again.
That implies that this happened already once today. Did I hose you down? I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
At this point, though, anything really could
Anything's
happen.
possible. Anything's possible. Anyway, but I have a crystal and a ring, and they kind of like pair together, and my main character's trying to figure out why, and I honestly don't know.
I'm actually quite proud of her for doing that, because that's one of the things that new writers struggle with, is that they tend to only write things that they're absolutely sure of, and if they're not
True
sure,
story.
they just quit.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I quit writing my other novel that I started last year.
The rest of us are really just flying by the seat of our pants. We're like, you know what? Put that in there. I'll figure it out later.
Mhm.
Like, I literally didn't find out what Zanja's motivations were until like 3/4 the way through the novel, and then she just said it, and I was like, oh wow, you're really an evil bitch. And I just kept going.
And that's what I'm starting to do too. Not just with my objects, but with like other things as well. Like, why is this happening? Why is A, B, and C happening? I'm like, oh, that's how they connect. Because I want them to connect, but I don't know how they connect.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to get it all down, and that's the beauty of this NaNoWriMo is just getting it all down, and then making the connections later. And that's why we have journals and loose leaf paper.
It really
and
lets
kind
your
of-
mind just
Yes.
vomit onto a page,
And that's,
then
like,
you can find the gold in there.
That's
somewhere.
the cool thing about, especially with like insignificant objects initially. As you continue writing, though, that little insignificant object or that
Somehow becomes
like an
important.
object could also be a person. It's, if you want to go that far, they could be insignificant, but then all of a sudden, bam, they make that certain connection that you want to make right at the beginning.
All set?
Yeah.
Bam. I love how completely unrehearsed that was. It's like, make a serious face. And
I tried really hard, then I saw both of her faces on the screen.
we're so retarded.
Okay. Oh,
My
God.
glasses are all fogged up already. Alright. In this video, we're going to talk about antagonists.
Okay,
Which
Sarah,
are-
you just look drunk.
I might as well be.
You're right.
You know what? I'm grabbing the beer after this one.
Okay, I'm not. I'm gonna grab a couple waters because I feel like I'm dying. I'm really warm.
Speaking of dying, we're going to talk about antagonists. Okay.
Excellent segue.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Alright. My antagonist. Does that mean you want to go first?
I was literally clearing my throat.
Alright, so my story has 1.5 antagonists. I'll explain. Zanja
Well, duh.
is a total cunt bag. I just said cunt on camera.
Yeah, you did.
She's
Rather
awful. Yes, with conviction. She's a terrible person. She's like, she's kind of been messed up since she's a child, but basically she has a thing for classical music. Okay, so let's talk about antagonists in general. Most of the time, antagonists are going to have most of them have redeemable qualities nowadays, which I remember I had a conversation with Stella one time, and she's like, why do villains have to be redeemable? Why can't they just be evil bastards? So I kind of took a page from her book, and I was like, alright, let's do it. And that's Zanja. So she's really just messed up in the head. But basically, she's, what I wanted to do with her was make her seem like a person that you want to like. So she's, like, gorgeous, and she's, like, sophisticated and classy, and she loves, like, classical music and really expensive wine, but she really is just a black-hearted individual. She's not somebody you can like, and so from a young age, she's been sort of involved with science, and science has been mostly eradicated from my world, and she thinks that that's a horrible thing, and she believes that in the music she's hearing the voice of God telling her that she needs to punish the world. Yeah, she needs to punish the world for what they did to science, because science was one of God's things, and we messed it all up. So she believes that it's her divine purpose to wipe out mankind. And so she's not redeemable. She's just pure evil, and the way she's doing it was with like pure bioterrorism, and she just makes it worse and worse. And even when it looks like she's doing a good thing, she's not. There's no goodness in her whatsoever. That's my antagonist.
Who was the other half?
All right, the half. The reason I say it's a half is because he starts out as a bad person. By the end of it, redeems himself.
Ah, yes. Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't want to give away too much spoilers, although that's kind of a spoiler thing anyway, but that's Burge's entire character development, is he starts off like very firmly on Zanja's side, and Neris, she's like the catalyst character, her and the existence of Wex and the fact that they're actually decent human beings change him as a person, and by the end of it he becomes different, and he sort of, I'm not going to give it away, but he's no longer an antagonist at that point.
Gotcha.
He's still not a very likable person, though. Like, even when you see the glimmers of hope in Burge, when he's, like, trying to be decent, like, he gives them breakfast, and it's, like, good breakfast, and he actually, like, worked hard on it this time to be a nice guy. Even though he has moments like that, he still has moments where he's just a total asshole, and you can't like him.
And
like,
you're just like, God,
it's like,
fuck
you know,
that guy.
I almost liked you, and then you beat a woman to death. So,
And you're like, what the fuck, man?
for no reason. Okay,
Jesus.
fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
I have two antagonists. There's, like, the head antagonist, and then there's his little crony. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Crony.
Yeah, right? Okay, so my main antagonist, his name is Bernard. First of all, I love that name. I just...
Bernard. That's awesome.
Brains, we shares them. It happens. There's Bernard, and then his, like, second lieutenant. His name is Philippe.
Philippe.
You're alone on
You
that
didn't
one, buddy.
join me on that one.
I'm sorry.
Boo.
I miss him.
Those are some pretty odd. The eyes are like the exact same angle.
I'm just that damn good. I got really awesome sunglasses on. I see.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I make up for shit. Anyway,
Bernard.
I know Bernard. He is like
I feel like the voiceover guy in like a movie. Bernard.
Bernard. Yes,
Bernard
Bernard is
was
a
the
very
antagonist.
Bernard is a very, 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 very bad man. So when it comes to like groupings of people, I always find like the mafiosos or like gang culture very intriguing, or the war on drugs is very intriguing. So Bernard is like a cartel leader. He is the head of a magical type of cartel, and he is on the hunt for a particular object that I cannot divulge right now. But he sends his henchmen because he's the type of guy that doesn't get his hands dirty. He does, but it's very unpredictable. It's not like he goes on missions. He sends his cronies on missions, like his second lieutenant Philippe. Like my backstory is like perfect. Like he has like Bernard has the finest crystal snifters. He has the best brandy. He has the finest everything.
So he's like Zanja,
yes,
but a dude.
And he's just, but he's batshit crazy.
Like Zanja will get her hands dirty, but you don't want her to. She makes a horrible mess.
Now Bernard only does on his terms, but he's very clean about it.
Yeah.
But he's a psychopath. Like he is all grins and giggles and smiles, shaking your hand, smacking you on the back, buying you a drink, buying you a pint. And the next moment he's slitting your throat.
Yeah, that sounds like a mafioso.
It's hilarious. I find it
It's
funny.
hilarious.
I find it fucking hilarious.
That shit's so funny.
I think it's
Throats,
hilarious.
That's like really
well,
funny.
and it's funny because Philippe
Big
is
old smile.
fucking scared of him. And it's fucking funny. And it's just like, the only reason why he's doing this is because, well, he's deathly loyal to Bernard, and he just got promoted to second lieutenant because he's like the head of intelligence. He has all of this intel, and he keeps failing Bernard, and Bernard says no, and he's sitting there with a snifter of brandy like, no, Philippe, did I make a mistake in promoting you to second lieutenant? No. And he Bernard is like, he's in full uniform, just sweating, just like, no sir. And he goes straight to attention, and Bernard is just like lounging on his desk with his fine leather shoes, fine suit. No uniform. He has a suit. This motherfucker has a suit.
Of course he has a suit.
Oh, of course he has a suit. And he's just sitting there like, okay, well then you better prove to me that you're worth this position. And he slams a knife down, because he's known for carrying a switchblade. Slams it down, and he says, basically threatens his life. And then he's like, come sit and have a snifter of brandy with me. And Philippe's just like, what the fuck just happened? So he messes with your head, and it's fucking awesome. I love it.
All set?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go. Alright. This is the last one. I'm a real shithead. I love this hat.
First of all, where did you find that?
I got it at a Halloween store.
Did you get
Apparently
it
this is the costume. I don't know what you would really need a shithead hat for other than to be a shithead.
Right.
I wear it when I want to troll people. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So,
and Sam bought me a panda hat. My transformation is complete.
Look at all the pandas that she's got.
Panda. Yeah. I see some panda pens.
So this last segment's gonna just be all about Win. So I'm gonna start with talking about it's World Builder season again. So I don't know if you remember me talking last year, but Pat Rothfuss, who is an excellent author and has written The Name of the Wind and several other books as part of a series called The Kingkiller Chronicle, which now, by the way, is going to be made into a movie and a TV show and a video game and the entire whatever you would want your book to be all at once. Lionsgate, I think, got it.
Wow. Nice.
And it's going to be incredible. But anyway, Pat Rothfuss is really just a really cool guy. And he started this, it's a charity foundation called World Builders. And it's basically to help places like third world countries that have problems with sustainability and, basically not being hungry, to take care of themselves. So it's not like you're not just feeding somebody, you're giving them a goat and teaching them how to take care of the goat. So the goat will give goat milk, and they can make, goat milk and cheese and whatever, and other things like that. So that's what you're looking at. It's building programs so that people can take better care of themselves. And it's very good. But the fun thing about World Builders that I really like is that they get all of the, they get a whole bunch of authors, agents, anybody in the biz to be part of it, and they all donate things. So signed copies of books, rare materials, some of the really famous authors in the past have put together this giant kit of all of the notes that they used when they were writing their book. It's the kind of collector's stuff you're never going to see anywhere else. But then they also have things like manuscript critiques and professional editing, and these are all things that get auctioned off at certain checkpoints along the way in the donation process. And when you donate, you basically are entered. But what's really fun about what's happening right now is that Fallout 4 was just released. Pat really wants to play, but he's been being harassed by certain fans to finish Book 3 in the Kingkiller Chronicle. And so, really badly harassed. Don't do that. Don't be that dick. Don't do that to anybody.
Don't be that shithead.
Don't be that shithead. Wait.
Touched your shit.
And don't touch my shit. I'm very protective of my shit. So what he ended up doing was he made this meter. It's called the Patomatic. And when you donate each day, you can choose if you want to vote for him to play Fallout 4, which he really wants to do, and, you know, authors are people, they need lives, and he hasn't played a good video game in a really long time because he's been working so hard, or work on his book 3. And when you donate, you get to choose one, and then the meter goes either way, and then whichever one wins each day, he streams it for like 3.5 hours of, you get to watch him do it. So he's either going to write his book, and you're going to watch him write, which is, you know, probably more exciting than watching anybody else write, but still watching somebody write.
He's very animated.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy. Or you get to watch him play Fallout 4 and be a geek, which is hilarious. It's really fun to watch, and like the chat is just like a whole bunch of other fantasy nerds like watching him play, and just like geeking out about fantasy books and teaching Pat how to play Fallout.
Like what did he say today? What's the autosave button? You see like 10 people, F5, 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 F5.
Yeah.
Okay, it's F5, got it.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's my spiel. Donate and watch Pat play Fallout, because it's awesome.
I'm going to talk about winning, because this year Panda's going to win Nano. Last year Panda did not win Nano at all. I was not close to winning Nano last year. Although last year was my first year doing Nano, and it was an autobiography, and I got really bored of it very, very quickly. This year I actually put some effort into a story. I actually came up with the idea for my book when I was on med leave, because I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I was basically confined to my apartment for a good while until my pain kind of went away. So I watched Harry Potter. I watched basically every movie I own, because I don't have cable, because I'm poor. Anyway, so topic another day.
Being poor.
Being poor. And yeah, anywho. So I decided one day, because I have every single Harry Potter movie, like, I'm going to have a Harry Potter marathon. Started at whenever I woke up, and I watched them all day. Then I finished it the next day, because I ended up falling asleep, because I was high in hydrocodone, and I passed out. Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? I think this year we're going to do Nano about lesbian witches, because I want to.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's all you really need is you're writing this because you want to. There doesn't have to be like some big, long story about your inspiration. It's just, you know, I mean, you can, that's totally cool, but it's also cool to just be like, you know what?
That'd be a really fun story. I'm going to write it.
Exactly. It's just like getting a tattoo or a piercing. Why'd you want it? Because I wanted it. I mean, some things have a symbolic thing when it comes to that, but sometimes you just like, you know what, I want this because I want it.
You know, Pat did a Q&A thing today for new writers, and he kind of talked about that for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, don't write believing you're going to be successful. And then he did this whole thing with the 250s. He goes, you know, out of 250 people that want to write a book, one will write it. Out of 250 people that write a book, one will finish it. Out of 250 people that finish a book, one will get it published. And then out of the 250 people that get a book published, maybe one will be successful, or so on and so forth.
Right.
But basically what the lesson is if you're writing because you want to get published, you're going to lose.
Right. You're setting yourself up for failure.
What you need to do, there was a cool quote today that I saw. Find the silence and then say something in it. So, or there was something like that. But basically the idea is...
Let the silence speak to you.
Nah, that wasn't quite it.
No, never mind.
But basically the idea is you look for the story that needs to be written. It's in here.
Yep.
And then you just write it.
Yep.
Because it's fun.
Exactly. And that's something that I ran into just now. I mean, my job is very stressful. I work in an emergency department, and it can get very, very stressful. And so I was working an 8-day stretch just recently, and so I work afternoons. And so what I'd do, I'd go and work. I'd try to write a little bit in the morning before I'd go. Then I'd be at work at 3 to 11:30, and then I'd go home. I'd get home about midnight, and I start writing. I stay up till 3:30. Well, doing that for 7 days or 8 days straight really just like knocked me the fuck out. And I'm like, I kept telling Sam, like, I'm not making my word count. And then I just said, you're becoming one of those people that are worried about your word goals.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, the goals are there for a reason. It's just a good tally marker. It's a benchmark.
Yeah.
It's a benchmark just to give you kind of like a visual of where you could be, or just, it's just a benchmark. You don't have to be there. People have lives.
Yeah.
You know, like,
it's okay to have a life.
It's okay to have a life. If you don't reach your goal, you don't reach your goal. But that started eating me alive, and I started concentrating more so on the word count than the actual content that I was putting down, and it was blocking my brain, and I couldn't write, and I wasn't having fun with it.
Yeah, whereas, like, if you notice and you're writing a scene that you really enjoy, time passes, you have no idea, you look at it, you're like, whoa, that's 1,200 words.
Yeah, just like our sprints today.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like sprints, because, again, I started, like, in 30 minutes, I wrote, like, 800 words. But for me, that's a lot. For some people, that's not a lot. That's subjective. But for me, that's significant because I'm like, OMG shoes, that's halfway to a day. Yes, I said that. OMG shoes. Let's get some shoes.
Winner.
What?
Winner. It's a thing. So Jory sometimes like she made a typo where she forgot a space. But I was like, no, I like it that you wrote it that way because
wait, no, got it.
She wrote wait, no, but she wrote it together, so like you can hear her like say it in your head. Winno.
Winno.
Anyway.
Just like today, I chucked out 800 words, or over almost 800 words in like 30 minutes. But because I was having fun with the scene. And just like I explained earlier, when Turin, you know, like, just demolishes the kitchen because he wants those damn cookies, that was a fun scene to write.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and
worked out words like no problem.
Exactly. And, you know, granted.
You know, that brings up a good point.
What?
If you run across a scene, it's not working, the words stop, it's boring you, get rid of it. There's no reason for you to be writing that, because if you're bored, I guarantee you your reader's going to be bored.
Exactly.
What you need to look at is what you were trying to accomplish with the scene and come at it a different way.
Yep.
Frankie owes me a vlog on that, so if she's watching this, she's going to make one, because I just helped her with that the other day.
Yeah, Frankie. Holding you to it, too.
Yeah. To put it into perspective, though, with the whole word count thing, The Name of the Wind, I'm going to talk about Pat again. This is like Pat Day. The Name of the Wind took Pat like 14 years to write, he said. 14 years for his first book. Because he was just having fun with it. He'd be like, well, today I'm going to work on it for a little while. He'd be like a few hundred words, and then he'd move on to other things. He said that, I remember seeing in an interview one time that he said that he was like writing along, and he was like in the middle of writing it, and he realized, I'm not going to go anywhere with this, am I? Well, whatever. And he kept writing, because that wasn't why he was writing it anyway.
Right.
Of course, it became wildly successful.
Right.
Because it's a really good book. But that's the perspective for you. Famous author took 14 years to write his first book. I write 5,000 words in a night, but I also not published, so it doesn't matter. Write what you want, as many as you want. Making the nano goals is great, not necessary.
Right.
You don't have to freak out.
The goal of NaNoWriMo is to have fun and to meet new people. Honestly, I mean, and to commit. Committing is huge, and to have a support group, and that is, you know, being really far away really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm on Skype. I remember I Skyped with Sam, like video Skype with Sam, and we were talking about plotting our NaNoWriMo books and stuff like that, and I was like super excited about this book. So it was when I was on med leave, and I remember I got off Skype with Sam because Sam had to leave or I had to go or something, and I started crying. I'm not even kidding. I don't mean to be a sap.
I don't know why you're laughing.
I don't know why you're... Well, whatever. It's you. It's you. It's you. And I remember going on Tumblr, and I tagged Sam in Tumblr, and I said, I just got off the phone with one of my best friends, and it made me miss her and everyone back up at home, and it's just like... Because I would be up here, I don't even know how many weekends out of the month. Not just for Nano, but like other times after that, because we would continue writing. And I don't have that down there yet, because I have only been down where I live for like 3 months now. And I'm just like, damn, this really sucks not having that physical support group that I had when I lived back at home. So that's the cool thing about Nano. When you go on the webpage, you find a home region, and I had to find a new one. And I'm like, dang it, man. So I found one, and I haven't been able to go to the write-ins, but I found their Facebook page, and I've been posting on it, and they've been, kind of like interacting with me back and forth, and that's been really helpful. And you make new friends. I mean, I know some folks are like slightly introverted, and they really don't want to meet new friends. Keep the old. Exactly. Thank you for that, Sam.
What is silver but the other's gold?
Derp, 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 derp. Chicka chicka what? Remix. So yeah, don't judge me with your judging eyes. So yes, because of that, and because of, the Dead Pete Society, we're gonna win this year. I'm gonna win this year.
Honey Badger's judging you now.
I'm well aware Honey Badger is judging me right now.
I wouldn't tell it not to. It does what it wants.
Well, you're blocking my pandas, so I'm moving it. So yeah, Jory's gonna win this year, and you have a panda on your tag, so hush your mouth.
Oh,
Panda
you're
rules
right.
all. Yes, panda rules all.
That's bullshit. Pandas even own honey badgers. It's stupid.
Panda rules all. So yes, Jory's gonna win this year. Jory's gonna get a winning T-shirt. Jory also bought an NRM mug, but it's far away and I don't want to grab it.
No,
it's last year's mug, so whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really proud of myself because I'm actually committing to something that's kind of out of my comfort zone. And
be free.
My Honey Badger can fly. No, he can't. Gravity still works. Not only is it a theory, it is the law. So yeah, this has been fun. Are you okay? You want to go to bed? Are you tired? I think Sam died. No, she's alive. Zombie shithead. Alrighty, guys. I think that's it for us. There we go.